All right, we're going to get started. So welcome everyone to the Outgrow webinar. Just to give you guys a quick intro, I'm Randy, part of the Outgrow team, and I'm going to be talking to you all about growth hacking and interactive content. All right, so if you guys have questions or any concerns, you can either message on the live chat or the comment. So comments should be sent. I should be able to see the comments that come in. And if for whatever reason you're struggling to send over comments, you can send an email to the webinar list where you've been kind of getting the links to attend the webinar. All right, just to get started here, the main thing that we all think about is how do we grow, and that's what brands spend most of their time asking themselves. And so when you kind of break it down, what does it mean that you want to grow? It basically means that you want people to select your company at the time of purchase. And so if they want to select your company at the time of purchase, then they need to be aware of your brand before they purchase it. And then at the time of purchase, they need to think you are the right option. So those are the two things, right? Is awareness, and then your brand is the company that's chosen at the time of selection. So basically, if you look at things through that lens, you kind of are able to get a sense of how brands and how to address kind of the growth problem. The issue, though, is that the most kind of prominent way people tackle this issue of growth and basically awareness and selection is through talking about themselves, right? So the argument goes that if I spend time arguing and not necessarily arguing, if I spend time presenting what I do and talking about myself, then I build awareness. So I buy ads and I say, I do XYZ and I'm great. And then the second thing you do is you keep doing that, and then hopefully after you've built awareness, at the time of selection, you keep pushing ads to them that they actually think of your brand, and they do that. The problem, though, is that most brands are doing that. And most brands are spending all their time talking about themselves, buying ads. But if you went on a date and all you did was talk about yourself, people won't necessarily be excited to hear what you have to say. They won't necessarily be excited to listen to what you have to say. And that's kind of, we don't do that when we go on dates. We don't do that when we interact with people. So why do we do that when we do our marketing? The argument, I believe, and why this happens is just because we never had the technology before, 20, 30 years ago, to really engage in conversations with people and help people. So what happened was we would just have to tell them about what we do. We pull up a billboard, we have a TV ad, and it's kind of a one-directional conversation, which is more like a monologue. But things have changed, and so with the advance of technology, you now can try to run your own. You can now run your own experiments. And what's great about this is that this idea that we tried was, so VenturePact basically is a business that helps companies hire and manage software development teams. Okay, and so they vet these teams and they make sure they're great. One of the things they noticed was, and we were part of the VenturePact team, is that at the end of the day, most people are asking how much does an app cost. And so when it comes down to how much does an app cost, that question obviously requires a set of various inputs that a traditional blog post won't be able to give you a specific answer to your specific application. So what we did was, I'm going to exit screen mode and actually show you what we did here. So we built this application, and it's basically a calculator, and it says looking to build an app, find out how much it will cost in your region. So you get an estimate, and you basically answer questions. What platform will your app be built in? So you say iOS. Which UI theme do you want? Let's say it's a template UI, 7 to 12 screens. You want email ID and passwords for login. You want basic security measures, etc. And so as you go through this calculator and you input information about the admin features, your data, your security, your design, now we ask for your email. So here we're saying, look, we're going to give you the answer, the detailed answer, but give us your email, and so we can keep in contact. And so we're giving you something of value in exchange for email. We're not just saying, we're not just saying, oh, give us your email. This is a landing page. We're actually giving you value. So here you can see, okay, it's going to cost in zone 3, it's going to cost $8,680. In zone 2, it's going to cost $14,105. And in zone 1, it's going to cost around $28,000. And you can also see the full breakdown, okay? And so this is adding a lot of value to the user. And yeah, you have their email, and but to get their email, you gave them value. You gave them something they wanted. You answered their question. So we're not saying, oh, VenturePact is the greatest. What we're saying is that VenturePact is here to help you figure out this question. And so this helps address the awareness problem. It also helps at the time of selection. You can just post your project. So you have all you already given us a decent amount of information. You can post your project just by clicking here, and this will take you to post your project on the post your project page. So this is just an example of a way to kind of really engage your audience, and it works, right? People start linking to it on Quora and other sites because it's adding value. No one's going to link to a landing page, right? People will link to something that's useful. And so what happens is this basically became our #1 sales channel on the VenturePact business, and we launched Outgrow to help people build these things easily without having to take any development or design time. But it just shows you the power of this being the number of these tools, is that it became a #1 sales channel very quickly, and it's relatively cheap once it's built. To get it out there, because it's Google's gonna rank you well. This is what people are searching on Google, etc. So the main premise here is that customers need to be helped and not sold to, right? That you want to walk them through what they need to do instead of just selling them. So now the question is, this gives you one example where investing in calculators makes sense, and that's something you should do. Now, the second question is, why should you even invest in calculators? Why does this make sense? The main point is that, the first point is that they add real value, right? So if you just look at on Google's auto completion while you're filling out the search bar, you see that how much can I has all these different things. What is the risk of? What is the cost of building? How much can I save? What is the ROI? All these questions people are asking regularly on Google. And so if you're answering that specific question for that user, that's about helpful, right? So you can either not answer that question for them, or you can write a generic blog post that says, in general, applications cost between $10,000 and $15,000, or you can say, for your specific app, this is how much it's going to cost. This is the ROI for your specific solar panel or email marketing tool, and that's a lot more valuable. So then the second thing is they go viral, and this is something, obviously not every single calculator quiz goes viral. It has to be very well designed. But let's look at this calculator. I don't know if people have done it before, but it basically says how y'all use and you guys talk. It's a dialect quiz, basically. So how do you phrase things, right? So people from the South say y'all, and they're going to ask you a set of questions, right? How do you address a group of 2 or more people? So that's kind of a question that's going to help better identify which area your dialect is from, which kind of region within the US you're most likely to be from. And this was launched on December 21st of 2013. Within 10 days, this went so viral that it beat every other article during the entire year of 2013. So it beat the cumulative number of visits for all the other articles throughout the year within 10 days. And so, as you can see, the New York Times' most popular article of 2013 was not an article, right? It was a quiz. And that shows you how viral these things can go. And the main way to think about why these things go viral is that these things are about us. They're about who we are, right? They're about, they're answering questions about me and not about, and they're not just promoting us, right? So New York Times could have written an article about how the New York Times is great, or about a general article about, oh, like dialects generally span, in the South you have these types of dialects, in the North you have these types of dialects, in the East and the West, blah, 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 etc. But that wouldn't have gone viral. Well, the reason this went viral is because it's asking me about how I say things, and it's then predicting where I'm from. And because the questions were so good and the results were so accurate, people actually shared them, and they enjoyed taking the quiz. Another thing on BuzzFeed, of course, 8 of their top 20, this is from last week, 8 of their top 20 most popular articles were quizzes. And if people share a quiz with their friends, 82% of people will actually, who see it on their feed, will click through. So it just shows you that there's a level of trust where people are actually engaging with that content. As you know, on Facebook, you rarely get that high click-through rate on posts in the feed, but because it's an engaging form of content, you can get these types of high rates of conversion. The third thing, it really drives new business inexpensively. So why does that happen? Well, so this is just an example of how the metrics have improved by using a calculator versus traditional homepage metrics. You have a much higher CTR on a landing page. You have a much higher conversion rate, and you have a much lower bounce rate. And the reason why this happens are a few things. One is the traffic comes cheaply because it's being shared organically. It's actually done so well. It's well written, and it's been performed in such a way where people actually want to share it, and they want to tell other people how great of an experience they had taking the quiz or the calculator. The second thing is that the promotion that happens on Facebook, even if you put an advertisement on Facebook saying, hey guys, like check out how much it costs to build a roof or build an app, or what's the risk of you catching Zika virus if you go to South America or whatever. So that's like what you see is what you basically get. So that's what that's what the promotion is saying on the feed, on your Facebook feed, and that's what you actually see when you go to the calculator, to the calculator landing page. So that's another thing that helps with conversion. So as I said before, the main thing we had to do when we were building this as part of Venture Pact was that we had to build the calculator, right? We needed developers, we needed designers, and then we needed our sales team and our developers to also craft the questions, etc., and the answers and the results. But now we basically have built a tool. It's as easy as using PowerPoint, where you can build these highly converting calculators and quizzes in under an hour, and you won't need developers, you won't need designers. You just need a basic, competency in using software products, and if you have experience with PowerPoint, this will be pretty easy to build. And so now the investment cost has significantly shrunk. The time to launch these things has been significantly reduced, and so suddenly this becomes like a viable option for a lot of people to do. And we really think this is going to change the game in terms of how companies think of interactive content and think of growth hacking. So just to give you guys a sense of growth hacking and interactive content. So the concept of growth hacking is that you create a tool or a product or something that allows you to grow your business without having to spend tons of advertising dollars, right? So it's like a smart way to grow. And the good thing about these calculators and quizzes is that they're inherently smart ways to grow, because they allow you to get organic shares, and they actually add value to your customer. And of course, you get their email address when they close. So that's what makes it a good growth hacking strategy. And the reason it's called interactive content is because you're actually building, it's an interactive experience, right? You're taking an input and you're showing an output. So let me move here to the Outgrow page and show you how it works. So you basically come to the page and you have your calculators, and you can create a new calculator. So once you create a new calculator, you have this set of templates that you can choose from. These templates are pre-designed by us. You don't have to recreate. You don't need a designer to do this. You just click on the template and you say, you know what, this one looks good, this one looks good, and you choose one that you like, and you should use template. And then it basically generates for you a template, which is pre-designed, and all you have to do is edit the questions and the answer. So I'll go through an example calculator, and then I'll show you how to build it. So this one is a credit card payoff estimator. You just click estimate costs, and you can see as I change my credit card balance, in real time I see the change in how much I would need to pay monthly so that I can cover my bill within 12 months. And I can also change my APR and see if I reduce the APR, then it should reduce my payment. So 1387 goes down to 1317 because I've reduced the APR. If I increase my monthly pay, how many months I want to pay the debt over, that should decrease my monthly payment. So I want to pay it in 30 months, it should go down, and it goes down. So you basically can see how it works, and then you can see the total amount you'll be paying over the course of the 30 months as well. So it's a pretty cool experience, and you can see this kind of interactive notion of interactive content. As I change, I can see how things change, and I'm learning about how the different pieces to the puzzle fit together. So it's a pretty good educational calculator. So let's see how to build this. So if we wanted to build a piece of content, let's say we want to say calculate the risk of Zika, okay, of getting Zika while you're in let's say Central America. Okay, so now we have a title. Okay, I can add a subheading here. Okay, so we can remove it. I can change the text on the button. So here's button text. Get started to estimate or something. You can change the logo, the theme color you can change. So you can see how it looks in the blue theme color instead of the yellow. You can change it to yellow. You can change the logo. And then you go, so this is the welcome screen, right? Now, I can add a lead gen form here, and I can just say, oh, now I have a lead gen form, but the lead gen is on the welcome page. If I want to move the lead gen from the welcome page to after the questions, which is recommended instead of putting on the welcome page, you can just say lead gen after questions, and then it automatically moves to after the questions page. So then you can go, so that's kind of a good feature. And the reason we say put the lead gen after the question, so if you look at the way this is designed, right, you have 3 panels. The left panel is the navigation. So these are all you navigate between the questions and the result. The center page is the real time showing you what's actually happening. And the right is the property, editing the properties of each question. So here you see that lead gen is coming after all these questions and before the result. The reason we recommend this is that you don't want to put the lead gen form at the top, because that's going to move people away. You either put lead gen before the result, and then they've kind of, they've seen that you have smart questions, you seem like a reliable, this seems like, pretty smart, and it's going to give me a good recommendation, then I'm more likely to give you my lead, my email. And as a result, you can do it on the result page, but then you have to provide an offer because you've already given them the answer. So you'd have to give them an offer for them to be able to be interested in giving you their email at that point. So then let's say, do you smoke? Now, the first question is, this is about your probability of getting Zika. So we would change do you smoke to, which country are you visiting? Okay. And then instead of a drop down, you do multi-select because you might be visiting multiple countries. And then you would say, okay, Central America, are you visiting Costa Rica? Are you visiting Belize? Are you visiting Panama? Okay. And then we assign points. So let's say in Costa Rica, the relative risk is like Panama, then Costa Rica, then Panama, then Belize. So let's say we give the value of, if you went going to Costa Rica, let's say that is like about 10% probability, okay, of getting Zika. Obviously, this would have to be like properly thought through with proper research. But let's just assume Costa Rica is about 10%, Panama is about 20%, Belize is about 30%. And if you visit both, then the probability, if you visit Costa Rica, Panama, and Belize, then you can just assume that it's around 60%. So you have 10% during your time in Costa Rica, 20% to 30%. That's just like an estimate. And then you can go to question 2, how active is your lifestyle? You would change this to maybe, are you willing to use, insect repellent regularly, okay? And then you would say, this would be single select, yes, and then no. So if you are willing versus you're not willing, so the question 3 I would remove and delete the option 3. And then you say, let's say if someone says no, then you want to increase their chances by 30%. And so then what would happen is you'd come to the result after you have all the questions, and you click create formula. And you would say that question 1, which is which country are you visiting, right, was 10%, 20, or 30%. And I'm going to add to that question 2. Are you willing to use insect repellent regularly? So then the max value, so then you go question 1 plus question 2. It's a very simple formula. And I click apply formula. So then I say, you want to change the text from here is your risk of getting a heart disease to, here is the probability of catching Zika. And you just say R1 is that. So we can remove this here. And then we don't need the other results. We're only going to do one result for this. So I can just remove result 2, 3, and 4 here. We've made it easy for you to build a wide range of calculators, and that's why you'll see that there's these other features that you don't necessarily need all the time, but they could be good. This is a simple calculator that's built. And so here what you see on the left side is the build section. Under the build section is configure. And here in the configure section, you can name the calculator. And so let's say we want to name it Zika. You can calculator URL. You would name here, obviously it can be empty. So and then calculator name successfully. Okay. And then you can then come here and say, let's name the calculator URL just be that/Zika. The SEO title, default description, so how to optimize it for SEO. You can trigger a confirmation email. You can create integration so that the lead that's being generated goes to your marketing automation tool or your CRM. You can share it, social sharing. You can launch a pop-up. You can embed on a web page as well. So here you can say I want to embed on the large screen or on small screen. You just click get the code, and you can embed. You have the code to embed, and then analyze once you've actually posted the piece of content. You can see how the traffic is performing here. So that gives you a quick sense of how it all works. And I can just click preview, and it basically will preview for me how this experience would be across 3 devices. So the web, the tablet, and the phone. And the good thing about this is that I can kind of see how it would look for the user. Which country are you visiting? So Costa Rica. I'm only visiting Costa Rica. Are you willing to use insect repellent? Yes. And so we click, and then you can click settings, and you can change the link on the result page. Schedule a consultation today. You can change this link. You can add disclaimer text or remove the disclaimer text, etc. Okay, so now let's go back to the presentation, and then I will go over, okay, how to be successful with quizzes. So the question is, how do you come up with ideas? What questions does your sales team regularly get? And what questions does your customer service team regularly get? Those are the ways we usually think about coming up with ideas, right? So if your sales team is regularly getting a question about, how do I understand the payback period on a, solar panel? Then you're going to get getting that answer back is going to be very useful. And that's basically going to help you better understand what types of questions your customers actually care about. And the same is for customer service team. Usually, if you're a B2B, you need to ask your sales team. If you're a B2C, you ask the customer service team what questions they get. And a good mechanism or lens to look through this would be like a top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. So the top of the funnel, you'd ask a question like, which color will look good on your roof? And that's kind of the awareness question, right? So you're still trying to figure out what color would look best. And then you might ask, in the middle of the funnel, you'd ask the cost to rebuild. And then the bottom of the funnel might be how much you'd save by using us versus competitors. And so here you try to address the awareness and the time of purchase thing I mentioned earlier. Let's see if I have any questions on email or on the thread. Okay, so we have one question coming in around where can we embed the calculator. Okay, that's a good question. Where to embed the calculator? So you can embed it on your website. You can embed it on a blog post. You can embed it on your homepage. You can have a full page, and you can change the URL to your URL. So you can basically embed it anywhere you want. And so you just kind of get the code and you can put it wherever you want. Anything else? Okay. There's one question around designing the formula. Sure. So the way to design the formula, as you can see, so there's different ways to design the formula depending on the specific use case. So simple quizzes, it's just you get 1 point for the right answer and then 0 for the wrong answer. For more complex use cases, like the credit card payoff I showed earlier, those do require some complex math. So then you can ask us to help you with the math if necessary, if you're not sure, and then and to make sure that it works, right, you're going to need to use for monthly payments or mortgage payment calculators. You do need to use power functions and so a little more advanced math. But yeah, again, we're happy to help with figuring those things out. And let's see here. I think I covered these questions. So about what the question around how to leverage the leads, I'll actually cover that in like a couple minutes. So so just give me a couple minutes and I'll answer that one. It's part of the remaining part of the presentation. All right. So what makes a quiz share worthy? For this part, I think you need to think about, there's the title of the question and the results. And what really comes down to is that the title part, you want to make it something that people feel like it's a challenge. People feel excited to come and take that quiz or calculator, right? So this is the hardest quiz or the most challenging that you'd experience. And the title of and another one is like, are you a true, do you really know the show Friends, or do you really know Lakers history? Okay, and so that's going to be something I'm more likely to get up and actually try to take. And these are mainly trying to address the awareness issue that I mentioned at the beginning. And then, of course, you want the questions to be thoughtful so that people think you're actually going to give them a good recommendation and that it makes sense and you've put thought into it. It's not about just launching these things without actually thinking about it. And then the result should be something they're least proud of. If you give them a result that says, you got 10% right on this quiz, they're not going to be super excited to share that because it's not showing your result. How to get traffic? You have all your, well-known, the well-known sources that you can use. One interesting thing is how, because you can embed these things, other people can then link and embed your quiz and calculator on their page, and that helps a lot with your SEO and with your link building strategy. And then this is the question that I just got about about how to leverage leads. So because you have, for each lead, you also have their answers to the questions on that quiz or calculator, you can segment much more intelligently. And so leveraging that segmentation will allow you to really target them and send drip campaigns that are extremely targeted. So if you know that I'm a big fan of Friends, and you know that I'm like Mike, I'm most like, let's say the quiz was like, which Friends character are you most like? And I got, Chandler or Joey or Ross, you would retarget me with content relevant, to that character, and I'm more likely to engage with that piece of content. And then depending on where I seem to be in the funnel from the answers I've given, you can then retarget me separately. You can actually, if it's a B2B situation, you can send me to the sales team. So there's different ways to do that. And these are some just general benchmarks that are good to think through. Conversion rates are relatively high in general on quizzes and calculators. And so you can see that you can get 20% plus if it's a well-designed calculator or quiz. And so these are just kind of general benchmarks. But for now, I guess, thanks a lot for taking the time to listen. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to help. You can email us at questions@outgrow.co, and you can also ask questions. You can send over questions as well. I'm just gonna try to answer a couple more questions, and then the rest I'll answer them via email so that I don't take up too much of your time. So here, let's see other questions that we have. Okay, this is another good question. So the question is around real-time results versus showing the result at the end. So this is a good question. And so as you can see on the credit card payoff calculator, this is a real-time result. I'm seeing the result as I change the values. And then on the mobile app cost calculator, the results shown at the end. But you can play with this as well. So here, one thing you could see here is that you get a rough estimate on the top right for the venture pack calculator. And then when you click get detailed estimate, you get the full, more detailed kind of values around breakdown by geography. So you can change this and you can experiment to see what converts better. The challenge with the real-time result is that if you're going to do lead generation and you're showing the real-time result, you do need to give an offer because they're already seeing the answer. So you'd have to give them an offer like, save 10% on whatever you're trying to sell them on, like on your next credit card, or if you're recommending them which Lakers player are you most like, and you choose Kobe Bryant, and then you would give me save 5% on Kobe Bryant shoes or a Kobe Bryant jersey, things like that. That would have to be an offer, right? Whereas in this case, before you're giving the detailed estimate, you can ask for the email of the person, and you also ask them to share it, which friend who might choose a friend who could benefit, and you can make this required or not required depending on what you want. But the good thing about doing this is that you can get that lead before you show the results. So I guess the main way to think about this would be, is this a B2B or a B2C context? If it's a B2C context, then generally you want to give them the result, and if it's a high-level awareness campaign, then you want to give them the result first and then show the value, ask for the lead with an offer. If it's B2B and you're adding a lot of value already in the questions, and the answer is going to be something really useful, then they're more likely to be comfortable giving the email before the result. The other questions are a little more specific about the templates and the design. Yeah, so you can change the logo. Yeah, you can change the background image, and then you can choose from the templates which template fits you best. So the reason we have all these templates is so that you don't have to deal with the design headache. I don't know if that answers that question or if there's more to it, but I do want to close things off so that I don't take up too much of your time. For the remaining questions, I will answer them via email, but I really appreciate everyone taking the time to listen, and wish you guys all the best with your growth strategies and interactive content. All right, have a good one, guys.